I love Singapore. Honestly, I really love the place, which is funny because I've only been there once for 3 days. So it's possible on this trip there will be a very eye-opening experience because we plan to go to the places where Singaporeans actually live and see what life is like. Meaning we'll do a lot more than just the Marina Bay tourist attractions. And so I'm hoping that my suspicions will be confirmed true because it seems like Singapore is the only country we've been to that is progressing very fast, getting very rich, but also maintaining law and order and conservative values. It's like they're doing both sides of the political spectrum at once. Most countries are having a hard time even doing one side of the political spectrum. So, without further ado, we're excited to go learn more about life in Singapore. Let's go back to Singapore.
Let's go. Mau?
Belum ada perempuan di rumah.
Thank you, bye-bye. Thank you, bye-bye. And so I want to start this video series by saying I still think Canada is a good place and I'm very grateful to be born there. Although over the past 6 years of full-time travel, I have seen that there are better places built on better ideas and my worldview has changed a lot. For instance, I think the right way to describe Singapore's government is some amount of authoritarianism, which is a word that I could not have imagined thinking was a good thing even as recently as 5 years ago. So I think most accurately Singapore is soft authoritarianism, which means they still have democracy and you still have freedom, which is a key word in Canada and in the West in general. So you still have democratic freedom, but you have a strict and harsh enforcement of the laws, which is sort of in contrast with some of our ideas in Canada. And so, now that we've arrived and we've landed in Singapore, let's go explore and see what a country with this political arrangement is like. Let's go. And so we start our journey today in Little India because that's where our accommodation is. Now this place does feel like India to some degree. Certainly there are Hindu temples and all the shops are South Asian, not to mention a good 90% of the people walking around look to be South Asian, but the floors beneath your feet are so clean that it's clearly still Singapore. And what's great is right beside Little India there's a Malay area where there is some more beautiful street art and a huge mosque, which is quite nice to take in and look at. In fact, I think this is the most impressive part about Singapore for me, because clearly there's a Singaporean way of doing things. They're so well behaved. It's an incredibly orderly society. There's no litter, there's no graffiti, there's no unnecessary noise, or people walking around with underpants showing. It's a very well behaved place.
Right.
Which is impressive to begin with, but even more impressive when you see the demographics of the country and especially the religious breakdown of the country. It's like so many different people have put aside their differences and become Singaporean. It's kind of a beautiful thing. In Canada, we encourage multiculturalism.
Right.
But I don't think people in Canada feel Canadian. I think a lot of them still connect with their prior country even more than where they're living now.
Correct.
Whereas, for example, we know a bunch of Singaporean people in our comment section as well as in our members, and they never say, oh, I'm Chinese Singaporean, or oh, I'm Indian Singaporean, or I'm Muslim Singaporean. They just say I'm Singaporean.
True.
It's kind of a beautiful thing. It's like Singapore has gone right down the middle where they accept multiculturalism but still have like a national pride and a patriotism.
Unity.
Yeah, it seems, I think Singapore is the best in the world at multiculturalism.
Wow.
They've done both things kind of simultaneously and it's just impressive.
Wow.
So with that being said, maybe it's time to get some food. Let's go. And so we've come to a hawker center which is in fact very busy right now, and there's food all around. You'll notice a lot of Hainanese chicken rice, which is very good. We also saw some banh mi's, which I considered getting because Vietnamese banh mi is so good. But what I really want is char kway teow, if I can find it. So let's look. I'm assuming you can get char kway teow here somewhere. Fried kway teow. I think that's exactly what I want. So, fried kway teow.
Size? Medium long?
Just for one person. So maybe
Medium?
medium.
$6.
$6. Okay, thank you. Wow. So, in the end, I found just what I want, which is char kway teow. This is rice noodle, the fat rice noodle. And they actually got some regular noodles in there.
Yeah. Huh.
Dual noodle, char kway teow, and assorted meat. I saw some pork, right?
Sausage. Yeah.
Sausage, as well as this is
Cockle.
cockles, which I don't really like unless they're in this.
Oh, really?
It's like a sea snail. Generally, it's not for me, but when you put it all together, very good. Ooh. Very good char kway teow.
Wow.
The idea is it's fried noodles, so they put the fire on top
Wow.
so that the noodles get charred up a little bit. Very good char kway teow. Now, as I eat, I want to tell you a brief story because a friend of mine actually witnessed an armed robbery in Toronto, which is pretty crazy. He saw 3 guys run out of a pharmacy, jump into a truck, and drive away so fast their tires went and they peeled off. So as a good citizen, the friend of mine got the license plate of the getaway vehicle, waited for the police, and showed the officer, hey, this is what they took off in. The police laughed and said, don't even worry about it. He said, probably the car is stolen, so even if I run the license plate, it's not gonna help me. And all these guys are gonna do is steal from 5 or 6 more pharmacies, get a bunch of drugs, and then just drop the car anyway. So it was an open conversation about how this violent crime was just not gonna be solved. And the police weren't even really looking into it. It's quite bad, right?
Shaking my head.
It's quite sad, right?
Yeah.
And so, in a hilarious coincidence, literally yesterday, because today is Wednesday the 18th, literally yesterday, the Premier of Ontario, who is the politician in charge of the whole province, he said Toronto is becoming a lawless city because some criminals were trying to steal his car, probably to do the same thing, to go on a crime spree and dump it. And so the police know the crimes are not going to be solved. The politicians know that there's crime all around. And the Canadian people are just getting screwed. I don't know how this happened. I don't know how it happened. But you see the Singaporean model, which is, from what I understand, basically to punish criminals harshly.
Right.
And you walk the streets and you go, this idea seems to work.
Right.
Singapore is on the right track. Actually, Lee Kuan Yew has amazing quotes about just pragmatism. It doesn't matter if the idea is a left-wing idea or a right-wing idea. It doesn't matter if the idea works.
True.
Which I think is what Canada needs at this point. So anyway, we got more of Singapore to see and more food to eat. So let's keep going, because we've got lots more to learn. And so next up, we take the metro here in Singapore for the first time. And look at this. There's no signs posted, but everyone who's walking in our direction is on the left side, and everyone who's walking in the opposite direction is on the right side. You see that? There must be some unwritten rule where if you're going this way or if you're going that way, because everyone is following the rule, despite the fact that there's no paint on the ground. Wow. Now, here is the map. I guess they've got a bunch of different lines, all color-coded. I love the orange one as a circle. And it looks like a pretty robust map, considering the population of Singapore is something like 6 million people. And so we're going from Little India to Toa Payoh. Taking the blue line and the red line, I think. Let's see. Hello. Can I have 2 tickets to going to Toa Payoh?
Okay, right now Singapore don't have any ticket for sales, only the MRT travel card. If you want buy, one card $10.
Oh, no single fare tickets.
Oh, okay.
And so on second thought, we're gonna take Grab. Because it's $10 per person to get a card. That's $20. It's actually more expensive than Grab.
Yeah.
If you're only going one
One trip.
one trip. Okay, a bit of a bummer. Anyway, we're back to the hallway where it's traffic on the left for us. I love how organized it is. Unfortunately, we can't afford it for travelers. Not very good. Better for locals.
That's true.
Okay, no problem. We take Grab. Okay, ready to run?
No, but you want to go to Italy?
We want to see.
Oh, to see the Singapore, how Singapore.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, because we heard that 92% of Singaporeans own a home.
Yes.
That's amazing.
Normally, the government allow them to pay 10% upfront.
Uh-huh.
Then the rest all through Central Provident Fund, whereby each Singaporean who work, they have a fund inside the Central Provident Fund. So they will actually deduct from that.
Oh, I see.
So they can pay for the house.
Quite smart, right?
Yes, it's a very good scheme.
Very good scheme, yeah.
Very good scheme.
Yeah, thank you. Oh, okay. Yeah, bye-bye. And so a really good start to our HDB tour here because the Uber driver, who was very friendly, he says, you know, tourists don't normally go to HDB.
True.
He said, this is not a common place people go. And I told him that I'm so impressed that 92% of Singaporeans own property. And that began him talking about how Singapore is great and the leadership is great and the policies are great. And he said the corruption is so low that people really think the government is working for them. And they trust and kind of believe in the government, which was amazing to hear. And so anyway, we've come to HDB and we are ready to learn more. Let's do it. This can't be real. Right? The whole thing is too good to be true.
Mm-hmm.
My brain is broken. I can't believe this is real.
Wow.
Okay, so in order to explain this, I think we gotta start from the very beginning. Because this is like, wow, what a country. This is amazing. And so the general idea here is in your country, you want as many people to own property as possible. Because when you own property, you feel connected to the place. And you're less likely to litter or write graffiti on your own building or something. So you have a sense of community when you're owning property more so than renting. This is probably true, right?
Right.
And so HDB builds not only apartments and condos, but really communities for first-time home buyers in Singapore. It's not a welfare program. It's not government housing that's free, but it's geared to be as affordable as possible for people to begin their property ownership here in Singapore.
Right.
Now it's incredible because the pictures they're showing you are like paradise. So green and so modern and so nice. And to be clear, this is the HDB showroom.
Right.
So you're certainly not going to see any criticism of HDB here. This is them putting on this place to show you how great it is. But if they could deliver like 70% of what they promised, it's the greatest idea. It's so well executed and so well done. They're focusing on your physical well-being. So your condo complex will have some jogging path and some exercise equipment, as well as your social well-being, so some place to build community and talk with people, as well as your mental well-being, which is a place to learn and refresh and recharge. And they're really building more than just a condo.
Yeah.
It's really incredible.
Amazing.
Now, I think most people here are actually trying to buy a unit because the next room over is for appointment only.
Yeah.
Which would have been nice because in there we can see the different layouts and the different sort of arrangements of different units. But I think there's more things we can do. This is already a great experience though. I think we can keep going and see more, but I'm already like, man, Canada, we don't have something like this. If you have a low income apartment, you're paying rent in Canada. And typically that's the area where there's most vandalism and drugs and crime, and it's like a poor area. Over here, the first time home buyers are getting like a really good start with amazing units, and then a good chance at success, you know?
Right.
Wow, Singapore. Okay, so let's keep going. I think there's more we can see. Although to be fair, we're not buying something, so we don't have any appointments. And so I guess 80% of Singaporeans live in an HDB property. But for example, here are some of the prices of the private homes or apartments that are for sale. Pretty darn expensive, it seems. So I think you start off with your HDB property, and then maybe if you get rich, you buy something private, but if not, you just stick with HDB. Yes. Oh, and here's a good comparison. This is a condominium sold not through HDB, 1.1 million, 2 bedrooms. Whereas this is a little apartment, 3 bedrooms, sold by HDB, 600K. So nearly half the price for something sort of comparable. Because HDB can keep the price down, I guess. And so we've managed to come into the showroom of the HDB. This is the gallery of what the apartments would look like. Right now we are in the smallest option, which is 38 square meters. Basically it's a 1-bedroom apartment. Now as you walk around, everything's brand new and modern, so it looks like $1 million. You've got a main kind of TV room, and then 1 bedroom, as well as bathroom, and up front is the kitchen. Now, what stands out about every apartment we've seen so far, they've got this room, which at first looks like a bomb shelter, right? And in fact, it kind of is. They're saying it's a civil defense shelter.
Wow.
I think if there ever was going to be some kind of robbery, which there probably won't be because it's Singapore, but this is like a door with epic locks on it. You lock yourself in there, and it's like a bulletproof room or something. Didn't expect that, right?
Amazing.
The country with the least amount of crime has the bulletproof room inside of it. Didn't expect that. Really didn't expect that. And so next up, we'll do the big 5-room, 110 square meters unit.
Got a living room. And a small office.
Oh, look at that. The office is in the living room with a glass wall.
Yeah.
Actually, pretty great office. Kind of behind the couch. Kind of clever. And then master bedroom, which I'm assuming will have its own bathroom. Pretty nice. I mean, it's hard to not be nice. It's a brand new apartment. Everything brand new. Yeah, and quite big. And so I guess it's 5 people could live here, not 5 bedrooms. Exactly. And they're not going to tell you the price of the unit, I guess, because it depends where in the country it is. It's just an example of the type of thing they're building at HDB. I think the lighting is what makes it so modern, right? They're all recessed lighting behind the corner, around the wall or something like this. It's very,
It makes it very luxe for a small space.
yes, it feels luxurious. It has like some ambient lighting. It's more than just, light bulb. Yeah. Oh, and look at this. This cabinet, all curved and all custom, and it actually conceals the bulletproof room. It's amazing that the country with no crime has a bulletproof room. But they have it right there.
Wow.
With a super heavy duty metal door. I really didn't expect Singapore to have a bulletproof room in every apartment. It's unbelievable to me. And so, this is an interesting place to walk through. Because I have this sense in me that I've developed over, I guess, my lifetime, that the government has to be kind of working against you. Or at the very least, it is your patriotic duty to pay as little tax as possible because they're so wasteful. That's kind of the general Canadian opinion, is like, there's a lot of waste. There's a lot of corruption, right? And so when I learn about a government like this that seems to be not corrupt and not wasteful and actually doing good things, it's like I almost can't believe it. It's like I'm looking for a way for this to be a scam. Do you know what I mean? Like, for instance, you notice all all the houses they built, all the apartments, all the cabinets are curved and custom.
Right.
I'm thinking probably when that cabinet breaks, there's no place to buy a replacement cabinet. The door that's all curved, so you have to buy it from the government. And the government says, oh, that cabinet door is $1 million. Like, there has to be a way in which the government is trying to get you, you know? I'm having a hard time actually believing that the government could just be good and fair and helpful. It's a very treacherous path, right? On one hand, maybe I'm falling for Singaporean propaganda. On the other hand, maybe I've been brainwashed to think the government has to be bad, and it doesn't have to be that way. So it's almost like cognitive dissonance coming to here because, I mean, it seems too good to be true. It's so nice. The government is not wasting money, they're not corrupt, and they're spending money building apartments people can afford to the rate of 92% home ownership. My Canadian brain goes, something there is wrong. So it can't be possible, you know? Anyway, it was eye-opening and very interesting. So I think the rain is stopping, which is good. So let's continue our journey.
Wow. We are at the Merlion statue, which was closed last time we were here, so we're happy to see it running and looking cool. Open your mouth, open your mouth.
No, this way.
No, you're supposed to...
Catch the water.
Yeah,
okay,
catch
okay.
the water. There you go, yeah.
Whew. I'm full, maybe I'll skip dinner. And so we've decided to come down to this boardwalk, which, by the way, great boardwalk, perfectly clean, in true Singaporean fashion, and the architecture all around is really, truly fantastic. Now, to be clear, we've been here before, and we've seen all this stuff, and my intention with this video was to discuss the greatness of what it might be like if you lived in Singapore. So I didn't want to mention the architecture or the food, because these are the two most obvious things that everyone says. And I don't think the main reason you want to live here is because there's a beautiful hotel with 3 pillars or because they have good food. I wanted to say something about the great leadership of the country, but here I am talking about the architecture and the food because it is really special down here. Some really beautiful looking buildings, and I think next we're going to go get some really good food. So let's enjoy some architecture and then go for some food. All right, so additional scene to our video. We decided to stop in for a cold drink, which is right down by the Merlion.
Yeah.
7-Eleven. I think it's fair to say outrageous prices. This drink, $3.50. 1.5 liters of water, $6.
Wow.
Although 3 beers for $10 ain't bad.
Beer is cheaper than water here.
Beer is the cheapest thing apparently. I think it's because it's so close to the Merlion, they cranked up the prices. I can't imagine it's $6 for 1.5 liters of water in the whole country. Crazy, no? Can't afford water, gotta drink beer. All right, so we chose this restaurant, first of all, because the food looks so good. We just followed the Google reviews.
Right.
Also, it's right across the street from our hotel,
Yeah.
which is very convenient. Look at this chicken, and this thing is like a ice cream cone or something. It's like a funnel.
Yeah, that's right. Almost looks like a kind of taco.
So nice, right?
Yeah.
Now, I love this sign behind you. It's some guy who says, I'm a Muslim, I'm lighting a Hindu candle, and I'm a Muslim, I'm lighting a Hindu lamp, and I'm using a Christian's candle.
Wow.
It says the same should be the unity in our country. Wow. So my intention was to make some beautiful message about this represents all of Singapore. Turns out, that guy was the president of India. Oh. It's not even a Singaporean guy. I guess he says, don't believe in luck, believe in hard work. So I can get behind the guy's message, but I just assumed he was from Singapore. I'm glad I Googled it, because I didn't know who it was. I almost made a big speech about Singapore and unity using an Indian guy. Anyway, let's eat. So I think what I'm gonna do is actually have naan. By the way, garlic and butter naan. Super good. Although Ivana's dosai almost stole the show. This is called open butter dosai.
Yeah.
That was so good. That was so good. I never had that before. Chicken and naan.
Good.
Super good. The guy said this sauce, by the way, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 sauces over here. We're a saucy couple, no?
Yeah.
The guy said this sauce was for the bread.
They're all good.
I bet so. And they were able to make it not spicy.
Great. Good?
Wow. This is good food.
Nice.
This is really 5-star food.
Wow.
The best kind of South Asian food for me is when it's made for the Western palate. If it's really authentically South Asian, it's too spicy.
Great.
This is so good. I gotta say, 5 stars.
Wow.
Very, very good. And they even got baby chairs for Jean. Yeah! Clap it up. Clap it up.
Yay!
Boom. And so this concludes our tour of Singapore and how much we love it. I will admit it's not perfect. There are some issues. Every country has issues.
Right.
From what I understand, there are things you just can't talk about. Freedom of speech is not all the way.
All right.
Because we have 2 friends who live here. Not great.
Although, it's really nice to have a Singaporean passport. It's the #1 most powerful passport in the world.
I would like to have a home base in Singapore for some time and come and go all the time.
Right.
You can fly to 50 countries from the airport, direct flight to 50 countries. The passport's so good, and then you can be a digital nomad. Anyway, I love this place. I would consider being like some kind of expat because it's nice. I'm impressed. And so with that being said, let's eat. Oh yeah. Yeah, pretty tasty. So good making you cheer, isn't it? Wow. That sounds good. That looks tasty. It looks like you really love that naan. Seriously good, right?
Delicious.
Seriously, really good.
Delicious.
Wow. 5 stars. Oh my goodness me. That food was so good and the staff was so friendly. Oh my gosh, I recommend that place 10 times out of 10. Absolutely fantastic. Now, to end this video, I gotta circle back and talk about what we talked about at the very beginning. Because my whole life in Canada, the word authoritarian is the worst idea. Cannot tolerate that from your government. And even what we talked about here at dinner, which is the limited freedom of speech. These are 2 things that I could never have thought were a good idea. Authoritarianism and lack of freedom of speech. And yet, when I walk the streets of Singapore, I'm like, this is clearly a better idea. This is clearly a properly run city. Because right now, in the dark, I could walk in any direction for any amount of time, and I would not come across the problems we have in Toronto, which is streets full of homeless people who are on drugs and unpredictable behavior. When Ivana and I last went to downtown Toronto, it was sad.
It was sad, yeah.
Everyone is walking around and you're just keeping your eye on that person who is clearly suffering of addiction. And you don't want to make eye contact, but you got to keep an eye on them because you don't know what they're capable of. And so I walk around Singapore and I go, what a nice place. I wish Canada was like this, but I'm still thinking, but Singapore's government is bad because authoritarianism and lack of freedom of speech It's almost like I'm battling with ideas versus reality. The idea of authoritarianism is bad. The idea of no freedom of speech is bad. But the reality is, man, the streets are so nice. Such a good place to walk around. It's working so well. I'm very conflicted about it. But we enjoyed our second visit to Singapore.
It's kind of like parenting. Do you provide your kids with whatever they ask every time they cry? Or do you take charge of the situation? Take control.
I totally agree.
No, Jean.
It's like you try and feed your daughter broccoli, and she says, "I'd prefer to eat Oreos," and you go, "Well, my daughter prefers Oreos. I have to just tolerate her eating Oreos." No, you say, "Hey, no Oreos. Eat the broccoli, please."
Yes, exactly.
Singapore's government is doing the tough love of feeding them broccoli. Canadian government is saying, "Just have Oreos."
Yeah.
That's a good example, Ivana. You're smart, Ivana. You're smart.